Amy Johnson was a local pilot, local aviator, first woman to fly solo to Australia. And as the sort of local dignitary in 1936, she was invited to open the house to the public. It was estimated that 15,000 people came to see her at the hall, and that to get into the car park, there was a quarter of a mile long traffic jam to get in, which, considering the number of cars on the road in the East Riding in 1936, is quite an incredible idea.
You're listening to Come Here, the podcast for and about heritage attractions, where you can discover somewhere worth visiting. I'm your host, Dr. Liz Drury, a freelance voiceover artist with a background in archaeology, specialising in voiceover for the heritage sector. Each week, I chat to someone from a different museum, historic site, gallery or cultural space about why you should visit, and exactly what you can expect when you get there. Robert Chester is the Education Officer at Sewerby Hall in Bridlington in the East Riding of Yorkshire. If you're looking for a family day out near the seaside, then Sewerby Hall has it all. Thank you very much for being my guest on the podcast today, Robert.
Oh, you're very welcome.
So can you introduce yourself and tell me what your role is at Sewerby Hall?
Yeah, my name's Rob Chester. I'm the Education Officer at Sewerby Hall, which means that I'm part of the museum team. I work very closely with Janice, our curator there.
And do you have a typical day at all?
No, I really don't. Every day is very different. And it depends whether we're in season or whether we're out of season. So, for example, yesterday was a Wednesday. That's my dressing up day. So I work with the volunteers. I'm front of house. You would have found me with a butler costume on, talking to the public, using the handling collections. Today I'm talking to you. Tomorrow I've got more volunteers in. And then next week I've got a school in, and I'll be busy teaching about Amy Johnson to year ones.
Never a dull day then. So can you describe the location for anyone who's not been to the hall before?
Yes, it's an incredible place and an incredible location. So it's a country house set in 50 acres of very beautiful parkland with a flower garden in the walled gardens, a small zoo. But the thing that really sets it apart is its clifftop location.
Yeah.
So from the front of the house, you stare out across Bridlington Bay with this wide expanse of the North Sea. It really is a very beautiful sight.
And can you describe the house itself?
Yeah, I think the most striking thing about the house when you first arrive is the fact that it's painted white. It's large. It's a large country house. It was built in pieces. So when you look at it, it appears Georgian from the outside, and the core of it is Georgian from 1713. It had wings that were added in about 1810 in the Regency period, and then more building work was done to it. So it wasn't really finished until about 1890. And it really does sit on in the middle of the estate on a fine terrace.
And what can people see inside the house?
So inside, the house has been redisplayed as it would have appeared when it was a country house in around the year 1910. So it's the home of a family called the Lloyd Greames. They were local dignitaries in the Bridlington area and landowners. And so the downstairs is furnished as you would expect with, we've got a dining room and a drawing room. And some of those have furniture from the Victoria and Albert Museum, which has been lent to us. And then we've got some interactive rooms. So you walk through the service wing, for example, and you can see where the servants worked, where they cooked, where they had their dinner in the servants' hall. And the things in there can be touched and looked at and investigated more deeply. So no barriers in those areas, very much an interactive zone.
Yeah. So who does the house actually belong to now?
The house belongs to the East Riding of Yorkshire Council.
And how did it come to them?
It was bought by them, by their forerunner, which was the corporation, Bridlington Corporation, in 1936, and it's been in council ownership ever since.
Yeah. So tell me about the links to Amy Johnson. I know you have some of her artefacts on display, don't you?
Yes, of course, I should have mentioned those when you asked what was inside. It's a very important collection. Amy Johnson was a local pilot, local aviator, first woman to fly solo to Australia. And as the sort of local dignitary in 1936, she was invited to open the house to the public. So she came. She was very keen to come. She was actually quite poorly on the day that she came. She'd just flown back from South Africa. She got the world record for flying, fastest flight to South Africa and back. And she'd contracted a sort of illness while she'd been doing it. But she was determined to come because it was local. So she came, opened the house to the public. It was estimated that 15,000 people came to see her.
Wow.
at the hall, and that to get into the car park was new at the time, and there was a quarter of a mile long traffic jam to get in, which, considering the number of cars on the road in the East Riding in 1936, is quite an incredible idea to have a traffic jam that long. So she came after she died during the war. Her parents set up their own little museum to her. But eventually they decided that as they were getting older, that they needed somewhere where it could find a permanent home. And they had actually been with her on that day that Sewerby was open. So they came and gave their collection to us, and we've had it on display ever since.
Yeah. So do you have a favourite room in the house or a favourite object?
I can't say I have a favourite object. Favourite room has to be the kitchen, I suppose. It's our interactive room, and it was one of the rooms that I was most involved with when we did the restoration. And it's one of the rooms that the public really enjoy because they can pick things up, look at things. And we get a lot of grandparents who come round with their grandchildren, especially in the holiday times. And they love that room because there's lots of things that they remember and they can share with their grandchildren.
Yeah. And so do you get school groups coming around the house?
We get a lot of school groups. We run the school workshops throughout the year. So we get quite a lot out of season when the hall isn't open during the week. Mostly to study Amy Johnson, actually. A lot of the Hull-based schools study her.
Yeah. And so to go around the house, is it a self-guided tour or are people taken round?
We have a volunteer who comes in on Tuesdays and will give a guided tour in the morning and guided tour in the afternoon. Comes in when she's able. We have a set route that people can follow if they want to be self-guided. And groups can always book a tour. Usually if they book a tour through the Welcome Centre or through the estate office, they'll either get me or the curator Janice who will take them round.
Yeah. How accessible is the site for people who've got mobility needs?
It's very accessible. We've got lifts to all floors in the house. And most of the other buildings, all of the other buildings, have ramps or accessible routes into them.
Yeah. So tell me about the gardens.
Well, the gardens are incredibly lovely, and they're coming into their loveliest at this time of year. So we have a sort of formal pleasure garden laid out at the back of the house. That was laid out by a gardener called Robert Anderson, who worked for the owner of the house in the mid-19th century. So the garden, we think, was set out sometime around about 1870, 1880. So that's a very sort of Victorian formal garden. And then you can walk through that and you go to the walled gardens. And the walled gardens, which of course originally would have been for growing fruit, food and vegetables for the owner of the house and for the household, that's been converted into a flower garden. So that was converted in the 1930s into what they called the Old English Garden at the time. And it was sort of part of a seaside floral tradition that had built up in the sort of Edwardian period, the interwar period.
Yeah.
And then beyond that, there's a second walled garden, in fact, which used to be orchard, It was an orchard. And that is now a rose garden. And that's a place where we try and keep that as peaceful as possible so that people can sit and sort of enjoy the roses and sit quietly.
Lovely.
So there's lots of sort of set gardens, but then if you prefer something a little more wild, you can do the woodland walk.
Yeah.
And that will take you round the edge of the estate, through the woods, there's a curtain of trees, through the woods, and it's a bit more wild there. And you can see wildlife. I've seen a deer in there. So that's quite a nice walk if lawns are a bit too tame.
And you have a zoo as well, don't you?
We do have a zoo. It's a small zoo. It started off life as an aviary and was slowly expanded. Very popular with visitors. And that's open all year round. The house will shut over the winter and is only open on the weekends. But the zoo is open all year round and gets visitors all year round. And the star of the show really are the penguins. We've got some Humboldt penguins, and people love to watch those. They get fed at 3:00, and the keepers are very good, and they'll answer questions. And so people come at 3 just to see the feeding.
Yeah.
And lemurs. Who doesn't love lemurs?
Oh yeah. So tell me about kind of regular activities that people can take part in at the site.
Well, during the school holidays, there's always something going on. And if people look at our website, they'll see the activities listed. So we have rustica stories, which are sort of actor-led interactive stories for children that go on around the grounds. There's a magician who comes on a Wednesday during the holidays. There's the volunteers who will dress up. We have dressing up days in the house on Fridays and Wednesdays, and that's aimed at everyone. And there's also a regular series of concerts that go on in the season. So we have Thursday concerts in the Orangery and also Sunday concerts. So there's always something going on, and then special events, of course, which we run, things like car shows, and we've had cinema in the park as well before now.
Yeah, yeah. I imagine the site changes quite a lot during the seasons. Do you have a particular favourite time of year at the Hall?
I think spring is probably my favourite time, when everything's beginning to come into bud and the weather's improving. Summer, of course, is lovely when the flowers are all at their best. But I think for me it's spring, because you're looking forward in the spring rather than enjoying as you do in the summer.
Yeah.
But we do have some very dramatic days in the winter. If we have windy and stormy days, looking out over the sea when it's stormy can be a marvellous experience.
Yeah. Can visitors bring their dogs?
Yes, we're a dog-friendly site. They can't bring their dogs into the house and they can't bring their dogs into the zoo, but dogs are allowed around the estate. We do ask that they're on the lead.
Yeah.
And the cafe is dog-friendly.
Yes, yeah. And presumably people can bring picnics. You've got lots of space, haven't you?
Lots of space, lots of picnic benches. Yeah, and people do bring picnics and really enjoy it.
Yeah. So what goes on behind the scenes that visitors perhaps don't see?
A lot of tea drinking. There's always something going on. We have, as I say, the volunteer team. So during the winter, the volunteer team will come in. They will help do things like put up Christmas decorations. They help with exhibitions. There's a lot of exhibition planning and logistics that go on. The volunteers do a lot of work on the costumes over the winter. So there's always something going on. There's always emails to answer. We get a lot of inquiries from the public, a lot of genealogical inquiries where people have links to the house, perhaps through an ancestor that worked there, and research work. We do quite a lot of research work on the stories behind the house, that sort of thing.
Yeah. And what kind of work do you have to do to care and conserve the building?
We have UV filters on the windows, so that stops the ultraviolet light from getting in, which will damage furniture and paintings. And in the brighter rooms, the house is south facing, so we get a lot of sunshine. We have blinds down in some of the rooms where we have furniture from the V&A and delicate textiles and things like that. So just to keep the light off and to keep the light levels low. We've got we do monitor the conditions in the house. So we regularly record light levels, temperature levels, relative humidity, which is the amount of water vapor in the air in the house. It's very difficult to control because obviously the house wasn't built as a museum and it wasn't built for the storage of objects. It was built as a home. So we do control that where we can.
Yeah.
We have a very sophisticated fire detection system, which will go off if it doesn't look for it's not a smoke detector. It detects the chemicals given off by fire, so it's much more sensitive. It doesn't need the smoke to reach it.
Yeah.
And we use trained conservators as well for any repairs or any work that needs to be done on the furniture.
Yeah.
So it's an ongoing process really, but the main thing is just to try and control what the temperature is, what the humidity in the air is, and the light that gets to the objects.
Yeah. What would you say has been your most memorable moment since working there?
Well, memorable moment there. Yes, there's a lot. There's a lot of memorable moments. I did try to think about this, what they might be. I mean, the restoration was great fun, and doing the work on that, and the research, and working as a team. And I thought maybe it's the first time I put the butler's costume on when I had to present myself to my colleagues dressed as the butler. Or would it be I gave a guided tour once to the Archbishop of York. That was quite interesting.
Yeah.
But I think perhaps my most memorable moment was the first time we lit the range. So the kitchen, when we had the restoration, the kitchen was restored to a working kitchen, and we installed a Victorian range, coal-fired range. And I lit the range for the very first time. And I've already mentioned the fire detection system, which can detect fires in a sort of more sophisticated way than smoke. And so as soon as I lit the fire, the fire alarms went off. So everybody had to evacuate the building. And we determined that the fire that it had detected was the one I'd lit in the range. So the fire alarms were reset and everybody was allowed back in. And about 10 minutes after they were reset, they went off again because obviously the fire was still going.
Yes.
And ultimately we had to actually decommission the fire alarm for the kitchen so that it would stop going off. But there was a business meeting going on in the Orangery. There was a council meeting. And the feedback that we got was it was a nice place, but really rather noisy because they kept on having to evacuate. So, yeah, I think that's my most memorable moment, really.
So when is the house open to the public? I know it's not all year round, is it?
It's not all year round. It's open now. We open for Easter and we close at the end of October. And then after October, it's at weekends only.
And tell me something about your Christmas event, because I know you're open for that, aren't you?
We are. We open at Christmas. The house is decorated at Christmas, and we put a lot of decorations up. We have some trees, and we do go to town. I can't tell you what we're doing this year because we're still planning it. It's going to be different from last year, I'll tell you that.
Right.
And I think we're looking at fairy tales and we're looking at the house more than we're looking at the grounds. But that's as much as I can tell you.
Okay.
Really, at the moment.
People need to check back nearer the time.
You will. There'll be full details in the on the website in due course.
Yeah. So how long should people allow for a visit to Sewerby Hall, would you say?
All day. I would say. If you come in the morning, and you can walk around the grounds, you can walk around the zoo, and you can walk around the house, and by the time you've done that, you've spent the day. It's great value. You can have coffee in the cafe, you can have lunch in the cafe, or we welcome picnics. It's a full day out, I would say.
Yeah. And what's the cost?
I wish you hadn't asked me that. It's about £12 for an adult, £13, and £8 or £9 for a child. But you'd have to check on the website to find out exactly what it was. I know there are family tickets and various things for carers coming in free and that sort of thing.
Yeah. And I know you host a park run too, don't you?
There's a park run on Saturday. I don't host it. I'm not a park runner. But yes, every Saturday morning people come for the park run, and then I think they often finish with a breakfast in the cafe afterwards.
Yeah, I imagine that's...
Put back the calories they've just run off.
And I imagine it's a popular one with it being such a beautiful location.
Yes, it is. The car park is very busy on a Saturday morning while the runners are there, and then of course they go and it's ready for the public to arrive.
Yeah. So what do you love most about Sewerby Hall, Robert?
It's a very happy place, I would have said, very friendly place. So I like that. As a working environment, it's a lovely place to work, and the colleagues that I work with are great. It's just a very relaxing place to be. It's, you're by the sea, you're in the park. Yeah, it's just nice. The feeling of the place is nice. And our visitors often comment on how friendly it feels.
Mm. So for anyone who hasn't visited before, very quickly, why should they visit Sewerby Hall?
Well, it's easy to get to. There's a free car park, or you can come on the land train. And as I said before, it's a whole day out. We've got 50 acres of absolutely beautiful parklands. There's woodlands, there's lawns, and we've got 2 playgrounds for smaller children. The walled gardens with its flowers, and you can even buy some of the plants in the nursery there. There's a zoo, and as I said before, who doesn't love penguins and lemurs? And of course the house is grade 1 listed, which means that it's in the top 10% of houses in the country. We've got V&A furniture, we've got dressing up, there's lots to explore and handle in the rooms. And there's a lot there for younger children as well. So if you come with small children, definitely bring them in the house. They're very welcome.
Yeah.
And we've got our Amy Johnson collection.
Yes. So something for everyone.
There absolutely is something for everyone.
Well, thank you very much for being my guest.
Oh, it was lovely to speak to you.
Thanks for listening to Come Here. If you know a heritage attraction that would love to be featured, or you have a suggestion for somewhere you'd like me to cover, I'd love to hear from you. To find my email address and find out more about me, pop to my website at lizdrury.com. If you've enjoyed this episode, please do subscribe, rate and review the show. It really helps other people to find it. See you next time, and come and discover somewhere else worth visiting.